Home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Welcome to Ticket Weeknights. Live from Coppel Chevrolet GMC Studios in the heart of Lincoln, America.
Here are your hosts, Rocky Russo and Cristiano Simonetta.
Up, everybody. What is going on? Cristiano Simonetta with you, voice of the Lincoln Stars. This is Outside the Box. I'm joined, as always, by Stars head coach Rocky Russo. Rocky, what's going on?
How are you, Christian?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really well. And weirdly for us, we can get into this in a little bit, but only having one game last weekend, it's always weird having that extra off day for us. That's Saturday night. So what did you do on that Saturday? How'd you spend that?
I spent time with my family. My daughter wasn't planning on being at home that night. She was planning on being at Princess Night, which has been the topic of conversation in my house for close to a month. She was a princess on Halloween, and she couldn't wait to wear her dress and her tiara to the rink and get pictures with the princesses. So my wife and I had to explain to her that that wasn't going to happen, but that the princesses were going to come later in the year. So Lori Crocker, if you're listening, do not let me down. Make sure those princesses do show up a little bit later in the year, because Ronnie is looking forward to it, to say the least.
This is Outside the Box, the Lincoln Stars coaches show. We're talking about Lincoln Stars hockey. They're 10-4-1 this season, second place in the Western Conference. One game on Friday. Rocky was against the Fargo Force at the Icebox. An awesome crowd. It was $2 night, $2 draft beer, $2 popcorn, bunch of different promotions, a lot of college kids in the building. It was a great atmosphere, and you guys got off to a really, really sharp start. USADO scores first 2 minutes and 20 seconds into the first period, and for you, you're starting to notice the crowd gatherings at the Icebox increasing in attendance. What was that like when you got the scoring going?
Well, obviously, I think Lincoln wants to support a winning hockey team in this community, and it's been a few years since there's been a group in there that the fans wanted to come out and see, and what we have this year is something pretty special. So, I'm seeing the crowds grow every home game. We don't have a large sample size. We've only played maybe 4 home games. So, we've had the crowds grow each weekend. Obviously, I thought it was great last Friday. We were outstanding in the first period, I think is the best way to put it. We were crisp. We were sharp. We were all over their D. We had pucks behind them. We had extended offensive possession. We scored 2 goals, and we have a chance. And that's kind of where we are as a team right now. We had a chance to bury our opponent, to really put the pedal down, and we come out in the second period and we don't even look like the same club.
Yeah, 2 goals in that first period, both from USADO in the first 10 minutes. And Fargo was a team that was shorthanded on the ice in terms of roster size. They had 8 forwards dressed. One of those guys was Connor Brown, a defenseman on the left side. How early do you tell the guys, or do you even let them know the schematics of, okay, here's what they're rolling with? They're a little hurt. They're a little banged up, because that could also serve as that reverse effect where guys may not want to play their game.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. And I think that's kind of what we ran into, right? Like, we dominate them in the first period. The guys are feeling good. They're going, hey, we're going to just steamroll this team. They don't have the horses. They're hurt. We can just keep playing our game. And then what happens is we start cutting corners. We start cheating a little bit. We give up a goal right at the expiration of the first penalty kill that we had. And then we give up another one kind of just out to lunch on our PK forecheck. All of a sudden it's 2-2. You're in a dogfight and the wheels are off a little bit, right? We're playing, but we're off the track. And what I've noticed with this group is I could get them back on during an intermission. I can't do it to this point during immediate time. When things are going bad, we have a hard time getting that fixed. And George and Art and myself have talked about that. We've talked with our leaders. What can we do to try to turn it around right away? And so that's definitely something that we need to work on as a group. But I thought we did that coming out into the third period, and we had a really good start to the period, 4 or 5 really good shifts, and then one bad mistake, and the puck ends up in our net. Now it's a 3-2 game, and we're trying to find our way back.
And you were trying to recapture some of that magic that you had in the previous Friday game at the Icebox against Des Moines. 2 goals in 14 seconds, and Henry Nelson. We'll talk to him a little bit later in the show. He had the game winner on Friday night, and on Saturday against Des Moines, 2 goals in under 30 seconds. Once again, you didn't have that punch back effort in the third period. What do you think was the reason why?
Well, we had questionable decision making all night long as far as the second and third period goes. And then we actually did get our 6-on-5 set up. We got our goalie out. We got the setup that we wanted. We had an opportunity to make a play, and par for the course for the evening, we made the wrong decision with the puck. So, it is what it is. I actually said to DP there at the end of the last show, sometimes it's good for a team to take a loss. You get a little high on your horse, winning some games in a row. We had won 5 in a row, feeling pretty good about ourselves. And so it's an opportunity to reset, refocus. We were able to be pretty hard on them in video. We had a pretty tough practice yesterday. We were able to get refocused and on some of our details and back to basics today. And then the hope is we have 2 more good practices and a great weekend coming up.
You're listening to Outside the Box. Cristiano Simonetta with Rocky Russo alongside. Text us 402-464-5685. We want to hear from you, your questions for Rocky and myself. And, some of the guests we have later on the show, Henry Nelson, Lucas Wallen. Let's go back to an overall theme from the season so far. A 10-4-1 record. You guys don't seem to quit when you're down. You lost the game against Fargo 4-2. But for you, when you took the job in the summer, if you would have said the first 15 games, hey, we've got 10 wins, you think you'd be satisfied with that?
Sign me up. I would have signed that contract right off the hop. Obviously, you're never satisfied. The more success you have, the more that you want. And that's what a competitive person does and strives for. But 10-4-1 through our first 15, we're just about a quarter of the way through the season now. I like the position we're in. We've seen everybody in our division with the exception of the Omaha Lancers, who we will see this coming Saturday. We've only got one small snippet against the Tri-City Storm. They're obviously a bit of a juggernaut right now, but we played them in our first game of the year outside of the showcase, and they beat us 4-1. And I would venture to say we're a far different team now than we were in that first matchup.
And Tri-City, that team you guys have been looking upwards at all season long. For you, what's been the most impressive thing about those teams? Before we even got on, we talked about them. And then last week before we went on, we talked about them. So let's talk about them for now. I know not a lot of Stars fans want to hear about the Tri-City Storm, but they're a team that, again, a model team for you guys right now to look at and be like, hey, we can be like those guys and beat those guys and compete with those guys.
Well, first of all, I think that Anthony Noreen and Jason Kohler have done an excellent job of building their club, right? They've drafted well. They've had their affiliate list taken care of. Their cupboard's always full of good players. They do a really good job of developing young guys. They've got Tanner Adams in there this year as an 05. They got the Strathman kid in there as an 05. Last year, Brindley played as a 16-year-old. Now you see him. He's a dominant player for them. And so they understand the model of the USHL where you're going to have to play some of your young guys. You're going to have to let them take some lumps, but I think they also keep the carrot on the stick for the older guys and understand, hey, you're going to compete to have success. The drafting, their first round pick was Arseny Sergeyev, who's been, without question, the best goalie in the league. Obviously, Cameron would have something to say about that, but Arseny's numbers are through the roof. And I know him well playing in the North American League last year for the Shreveport Mudbugs. He's been excellent, and they've got a really good decor. They bring Mitchell Miller back, who's a 4th-round draft pick, rescinded, obviously, but 4th-round draft pick of the Phoenix Coyotes, and a guy that was supposed to go to school at the university in North Dakota. And he should probably be running a Division I power play right now. He said he's still playing in the USHL. So they have a bit of an embarrassment of riches there. But I also know that when we play our way, we can play against anybody. And I'm excited for that next opportunity to get a kick at the can against them.
And you also were trying to have a kick at the can against Omaha for the first time this season on last Saturday. So you have that loss against Fargo 4-2, but we found out before that the game against Omaha on Saturday was declared a no contest. We're not going to get too far into the details. It's not like we're going to be breaking any information that hasn't already been made public. But for you, when you heard about that situation developing in Omaha and that it was going to affect your game on Saturday, for you, what was your thought process?
Well, first of all, I'm a coach, and so I feel for any coach that loses his job, regardless of the circumstance there. And I don't know Chad Cassidy well. I know that he's a very experienced guy, head coach in the American Hockey League, assistant coach for a long time with the National Team Development Program, doing a great job running Northwood Prep there for a number of years. And so, and to his own right, they had a really good record when he was let go. So above and beyond that is all skepticism. Not, you hear what you hear and you read what you read, but long story short, when the players don't want to play and there's a lot of turmoil, the USHL had to step in and say, okay, let's take a step back. Let's try to figure out what's going on here. And that was unfortunate for us because we had the big promotion. We had a lot of tickets out for Saturday night. It was supposed to be a great event against obviously a natural rival in the Omaha Lancers. And that wasn't able to occur. But ultimately, I feel for the players. I want to make sure the players are in a good spot. They're definitely a team that I'm looking forward to playing this weekend in their arena, and we will get that game rescheduled on a Saturday night. We're able to draw a great crowd.
Yeah, and if you purchase tickets to last Saturday's game against Omaha, we sent out a couple emails. It's on our website, but you can either redeem that voucher for another game throughout the year, or those tickets are going to be valid for the next time we reschedule that game, Princess Night. So yeah, your daughter was very upset about that. She had the outfit already from Halloween ready to go, and she got denied last week, and that must have been pretty upsetting.
She did. You know what? She took it pretty well. She came to the game on Friday, and when I went out and met my wife in the parking lot, and I took her out of the car, and she goes, "Daddy, I don't have my dress on." And I think it clicked in her head that she was supposed to have the dress when she came to the game. And I said, "No, sweetie, the princesses won't be here tonight, but they're going to be here down the road." And so that pretty much, in one ear and out the other. And all of a sudden the sights and sounds of the Icebox took over. We went and bought her a Lincoln Star shirt in the pro shop there. And then she went down and got to hang out in my office a little bit, and she got to see her favorite player, Antonio Fernandez. He's got her heart a little bit because he played in Amarillo last year, and he's so good with kids, and obviously he's got 3 younger sisters, so he gets it. And so she saw him, and she loves George as well, and so she was really comfortable and happy, and got to go up, watch the game. She danced the whole time, and she made it through 2 periods before my wife took her home. So all in all, I'd say it was a pretty good night for her.
Wait, she left after the second period?
She did, yeah. She's 2 years old, man. She's got to go to bed.
Look, nope. So wait, tied after 2-2, the Ronnie effect. Look, I think you did Fargo a favor.
We might have.
She's got to stay the entire bit of regulation.
Good luck. If my wife is listening right now, she'll tell you that's not going to happen, because Ronnie is she gets a little grumpy when she gets tired, and she's got that internal clock. It doesn't matter what time she goes to bed at night. She's up at the same time every morning, and so that catches up with her. And so I cannot see her making her way till the end of a game this year, until maybe the playoffs, when it gets a little bit more ramped up.
We do have a STEM game in early 2021 that's at 10:30 a.m. Is she going to be able to make that one?
I would suspect she could probably make that whole game. However, that runs into nap time. So my wife will have to decide whether she's willing to start nap a little bit later. But I suspect that one she could make it from start to finish.
We're talking about kids here on Outside the Box, Lincoln Stars Coaches Show. And that segues perfectly into what the guys did Saturday night. So, when the guys do have that rare night off, that Saturday night off, they're skating for an hour with the Cub Scouts. The next day on Sunday, they're participating in Bingo with the Stars, which is a booster club event. For you, how, rewarding is that for you to hear that your players are not only willing to do that, but they have fun doing that on days where, a lot of 16 to 20-year-olds may be like, I don't really feel like doing it and interacting as much as they did.
You know what? I looked at Saturday as we weren't planning to have a day off. And so we practiced that morning just to make sure that we got on the ice. And then we already had that Boy Scout group coming in for the game, and they were supposed to skate with them after the game. And one of our major objectives here as the Lincoln Stars is to serve our community, and so the opportunity for our players to spend some time with those young boys on the ice and interact with them, it's unbelievable for the Boy Scouts, right? They get to spend time with guys that they look up to and hope to one day be like. And so our guys are excited about that stuff. They really enjoy the community service work that we do. And then I cannot say enough about our booster club. It's unbelievable. I've been a lot of places. Obviously, we talked about that last week. I've never seen a booster club that is as passionate about the players and the organization as what we have here. They give a lot of their own time to raise funds, all that go right back to the players, which is incredible. And so the players have done a bunch of stuff this year as far as making wreaths and stuff that they can auction off, so that, again, that money comes back, and they've gone and they've played mini golf, they've gone to the movies. So I'm just so appreciative for that group and what they do for us and how much they take care of our players.
And the interaction that the guys have with the fans. You want to talk about people that they look up to, and those can, really put in someone's head, hey, I really want to be a hockey player because look at Antonio Fernandez, look at, Henry Nelson, those guys that you interact with on those community events. We go to schools later in December, you'll see us doing that. And that can really, have a big effect on a kid. For you growing up and playing hockey, was there ever a moment or anything like that, maybe watching that on TV or a movie, or maybe interacting with a local sports legend in your area where, that kind of helped you and say, oh, I really want to look up to this person?
Well, I mean, Yarmer Yager almost ran me over with his car once.
You're kidding.
So that was.
Well, hold on. Okay, we're just stopping the show right there and talking Yarmir Yager now. Go and walk me through that entire story. We've got time.
1991, I believe, is his rookie year.
It was a good year.
Is that the year you were born?
No, that's the year they won the cup.
That was 91, 92 was the first year they won the cup. 92, 90, 91, 91, 92.
Gotcha.
Back to back those 2 years.
Yeah.
So his rookie year, so it might have been 1990.
Sure.
My whole youth team goes to the Pens practice, and we're standing out in the parking lot. The guys are coming in, and they're signing autographs as they come in, and my dad and I are kind of stragglers waiting to see if anybody else comes in, and my dad was talking to another dad, and all of a sudden whip around the corner, shoom, like he missed me by a few feet in some sort of Porsche, Lamborghini, whatever it is that he was driving as an 18-year-old kid, and jumped out of the car. Couldn't have been less interested in signing my autograph, but I think he felt a little bit obligated after he almost hit me with his car. I'm sure Yarmer's a far different person now than he was as an 18-year-old kid with a big contract, but that was definitely a very interesting experience. I did also get, at the end of that practice, I got Grant Jennings stick, who was a D-man for the Pens back then, and we wanted Mario. Obviously, he was my favorite player growing up. I'm sure any guy that was a Penguins fan it was, but Mario was slick. Like right in the middle of the drill with about 20 minutes left, all of a sudden he just poop out the door and off the ice, because he would be mobbed if he didn't. But we were able to talk to Wendell Young, the backup goalie, Tom Barrasso, just a lot of cool guys. And that was the Penguins that year were what made me love hockey. I was playing already, and we didn't get the games in where I was at. I had to go to my grandparents' house. They had different cable. They had KBL, which came from the Pittsburgh feed. And so my grandpa would pick me up after school and take me to their house so that I could watch the games with them at night, and then drop me off at school the next morning. And I've still got my grandma VHS recorded the Stanley Cup finals in both years. So they played the North Stars the one year and the Blackhawks the other year. I have those games on VHS that came straight out of the basement in my grandparents' house.
Yeah, my dad has very bad memories growing up in Chicago, going to those games at the stadium when Jaromir Jagr, walking four guys, cutting towards the front of the net, one of the best goals, in NHL history at that
Incredible
point.
Player.
And yeah, no, it's weird that you have a Jagr story. My brother Dominic, who was born in 1993, he was, I think, about 2 or 3 years old. It was one of those same events, I think, in Chicago, and he had a Penguins jersey on. And I can't remember why my dad had him dressed up in a Penguins jersey that early, but this tall guy with a mullet comes up to my brother and says in broken English, "Do you want to have lunch with me?" So he must have felt super bad about
that. He almost hit me with his
into,
car. Yeah.
That he, tracked down my brother a couple of years later and he had lunch with him. And my brother, fell in love with the Penguins there. He went to Washington. He went to the Rangers. And you can't believe that guy's still playing, but we can because he's just such a physical specimen.
Well, I'll give you another Jaromir story.
Okay.
And this has nothing to do with me, but so I was coaching in Amarillo. And we're actually going to play in this facility, ironically enough, down in Frisco, Texas. We're playing. It used to be called the Dr. Pepper Center. It's where the Texas Tornado had played. That's where we're playing the Frosty Cup against the Tri-City Storm in January. And so we're there for a game against the Texas Tornado. The game ends. We walk outside, waiting to load the bus. Some of the guys wander over. There's a practice rink attached to the main arena. It's 11:30 at night. Jaromir Jagr's out there skating by himself while he's playing for the Stars. He's got the weight vest on. He's got the weighted pucks, going like a complete maniac for a solid hour. It was unbelievable. I mean, any guy at his age at that point is retired, and he's still out there at 11:30 at night with the weight vest on. That's why he's, 47, 48 years old, still playing pro hockey back in Europe and still competing and scoring. He is a phenom. You're seeing it a little bit with Tom Brady, but I think that, I think it's different. I think the amount of physical play that you get in hockey is different than a quarterback gets, especially in the new era of the NFL. Not to disparage what Tom Brady's doing, because it's incredible, but Gordie Howe, there's a very few number of guys that have played as long as Yarmer has with such success.
Yeah, Gordie Howe playing on a line with his two sons. I mean, I don't
At the
think
age of 52.
you'll never see that ever again. I don't think. We're talking Lincoln Stars hockey outside the box. Cristiano Simonetta, Rocky Russo, and also let's bring our third man in, producer Ethan. You know, we didn't get a chance to get to you last week, but we talked about our origin stories, and we just talked about, you know, for Rocky, watching Jaromir Jagr almost splatter him when he was younger, and going on to what a career Jagr did have. For you, I know you had a Kings sweatshirt during our first week. What's that all about? How did you get into loving hockey as much as we do?
Hockey was a family affair. So my grandpa went to a private school in Minnesota when he was in high school. Didn't play hockey, but he fell in love with the sport just watching it. He's friends with all the hockey guys. It wasn't Shattuck. It was another school that's since disbanded. It's no longer in existence. And so he came back, and when he raised my dad's step siblings or half siblings, he said, "You're going to play hockey." My dad never played hockey. So I grew up watching my aunt and uncle play, and that was probably the coolest sport I'd ever seen as a little kid. So I wanted to play. And then the reason why I'm a Kings fan is because it's directly to counter my brother as a Blackhawks fan.
Wow.
I chose which team I was cheering for in 2013, Western Conference Finals, Kings Blackhawks. He was irritating, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to be a Kings fan just to spite him.
See, you're not old enough to say it was because of the trade of Wayne Gretzky from the Edmonton Oilers to the Los Angeles Kings, which is what sparked hockey, obviously, on the West Coast. And if you go and you look at the proximity of when that trade happened and the number of high-end players over the next 5 or 6 years that were born in California that are now playing in the NHL, it's unbelievable. And so I was fortunate. My grandparents used to spend their winters in California with my mom's sister and her family. And so my grandpa kind of exposed me to the Los Angeles Kings a little bit. And that was right around Gretzky time and Luc Robitaille and Kelly Rudy. And so just a really cool experience there. But I like the idea of just rooting against anybody that's playing against your brother's favorite team.
Well, it was kind of that. And then he called me on it because it was totally obvious what I was doing. He called me on it. And so then I dug my heels in.
Oh, you have to.
I think I immediately pulled up my phone, and with the $50 in my little bank account at the time, I was 13. I ordered a Kings shirt, and I was like, "We're all in."
Well, now here we go. Now you're a Kings fan for life.
That's right.
And then in California, 1992, the Mighty Ducks movie comes out. So speaking of youth hockey in California, for me, my favorite player was Paul Correa because he makes a 5-second appearance in D3, the Mighty Ducks. You guys probably don't even know that because it's such a small cameo. He just randomly appears in the movie. But for me, I was like, okay, there's my guy. And I was a Ducks fan. I was a Abs fan, Preds fan. Then he retired in St. Louis in 2011. And it's very weird how we pick our favorite teams, because now you would have had the Blue Jackets in Ohio, right? Or what do you think would have been your favorite team? Because are you closer to Pennsylvania there?
I am actually in where Youngstown's located in Northeast Ohio.
Gotcha.
I'm less than an hour from Pittsburgh. I'm a few hours from Columbus, and so I'd like to think that I would have been a Pittsburgh fan either way. But the Blue Jackets weren't in existence. The Penguins were the only I'd call regional team. The next closest team was probably the Detroit Red Wings, and so it was Pittsburgh, and it's been Pittsburgh for life for me.
So Ethan, now you're fully bought in as a Kings fan. What are your thoughts on them trying to rebuild here and get back to those glory days of 2014, 2016?
Well, I mean, best prospect pool in the NHL.
Wow,
I'm
that's
really
a big statement there.
People try and shake my confidence in guys like Turcotte and Byfield. Tim
those
Tim
guys
Stützle,
are big time.
Oh, man.
My roommate, who is also a Blackhawks fan, tries to say, Kings should have drafted Stützle. He wants to go in and question every Kings draft pick, but you can have that happen where you draft a bust and it doesn't work out for you. But with just the depth and the quality of the depth in LA, I think it's going to be a great next 10 years for Kings fans. Because right now you have a guy like Gabe Vilardi, who was a top 3 prospect in 2015, 2016. Mm-hmm. And he's struggling to keep on the roster because we have so many talented guys, and he might be the odd man out. There's a lot of rumors, I guess, on mayorsmanor.com that Vilardi is going to be moved for defenseman upcoming, and we've even had an insider that says they don't think he's going to be on the team next year. So I see rumors like that, and it's incredibly encouraging as a Kings fan.
Yeah, I mean, Turcotte's pretty special, obviously. I was at the draft that he got drafted in, and his poor dad,
Alfie, yeah.
he's a former pro, right? And
Oh,
Alfie
yeah.
got caught picking his nose
Right,
at the
when he got
draft.
picked,
That draft, and his son kind of got the spotlight taken off him for a short time, but he's a special player, and I think he'll be a big time part of that roster moving forward.
Well, I was a big fan of that draft pick because he played for the Badgers, and I cheer for the Badgers in ice hockey only because my family's from Wisconsin. So
I've got 2 questions for you. Then, obviously, you're a Badger fan. What do you think about the fact that Cole Caulfield is now is he back down in Laval?
They called him back.
They just called him
yes.
back up, but they sent him down. They weren't really giving him a chance. And then, do you know a young boy by the name of Caden Brown?
I can't say that I'm familiar.
So Caden is a freshman at Wisconsin, and Caden was 5 years old when I went to St. Louis. His dad, Jeff, played in the NHL for a long time. I had nowhere to live when I moved to St. Louis. Logan, his older brother, Ottawa Senators draft pick, just got traded to the St. Louis Blues, was the big time player. Caden Pookie, his dad called him. Caden was not really interested in hockey, and all of a sudden, Caden blossoms. He makes the national team. He goes into Wisconsin as a true freshman, scored a goal, I think, in his first game. So that might be a name that you want to look out for, Caden Brown, if you're a Wisco fan. But talk to us a little bit about the experience of watching Cole Caulfield in college, and then what you think the prospects of his career are going to be in the NHL.
Well, I mean, watching him in college, I wasn't surprised at all when he came up to the Canadiens last year in the Cup run, and it was immediate impact on the ice. And then watching him get sent down, if you're not paying attention, you're kind of like, what's the deal with that? I just saw him in the Cup final, in the playoff run with Canadiens, being an Energizer bunny, I guess, for their offense. I hate to use that because it's a cliche, overused term, but you go look at it, and it's a guy who still has to earn his spot. And I think that's a really smart and savvy move by the Canadiens, because they're basically saying, we understand this kid has talent, but he still has to earn his spot just like everybody else. And I think anyone in sports can respect that, because you want guys to earn where they're at, not just be handed it to them. And so I wasn't surprised when he was a real plus to that run, and I wasn't surprised at all when he got sent down after having a terrible start to the season.
He's a special goal scorer, obviously. He's got an unbelievable release and finds his way into space to score goals. But if you're not, as a player like him, if you're not creating offense and you're not generating points, what are you doing? Are you effectively checking? Are you blocking pucks? Are you handling the defensive side of your game well? And I think, if anything, the fans obviously lit up when they sent him down. But I think when you look at a player like that, it's okay, we need you to refocus. We need you to get back to playing the game the right way so that we can bring you back up here, because we do know how important you're going to be to our current team and to our future.
As I said, when I went up to Wisconsin last week, sat next to a former Milwaukee Admiral. He used to be a liney with Paul Caulfield, actually.
Yeah.
And so he was familiar with the family, and he spoke that, Paul was an incredible goal scorer himself, and he sees a lot of that in Cole, and it's times 10 almost. So that guy who he's coaching hockey now, and he's developing youth players, he sees it in Cole. It's just putting it all together at the next level now.
It's different when you do it for a short period of time. That flash in the playoffs, it's a whole nother thing to deal with an 82 game season, and a grind and the travel and everything that goes along with it. So I suspect Cole Caulfield's going to be a big time NHL player, and a name that you should probably hear a lot moving forward.
Yeah, we'll be back with more Outside the Box after this.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. 93.7 The Ticket. Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank. A relationship you can count on.
It will be a warm, sunny, windy day here for our Tuesday top. topping out at 65. South winds could gust 30 to 35 by later this afternoon. We'll see increasing cloud cover tonight with a low down to around 40. Windy again tomorrow, this time a northwest wind gusting over 30, cooling us off to 53. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean. And there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
Landmark Implement is your local authorized John Deere dealer. Landmark's trained and certified sales staff will help you find the right equipment for your needs at a price that's right for you, all backed by Landmark's extensive parts and service network. Whether it's a tractor, planter, combine, an easy track lawnmower, or gator, every piece of equipment in pre-owned inventory is put through a rigorous inspection so it's ready to work hard for you. Landmark's team works together to make sure everything is sold meets their quality standards. Learn more at landmarkimp.com or stop into a local Landmark location and experience the Landmark difference.
A new Planet Fitness location is coming soon. To celebrate, you can join before we open for just $1 down, $10 a month. We're squeaky clean and ready to welcome you with tons of equipment and plenty of space to spread out. So join the judgment-free zone today. We're ready when you are. Just $1 down, $10 a month. Offer ends soon. Join us today.
Planet Fitness Lincoln opening a 3rd location soon, just east of 84th and Layton. Join now.
Planet Fitness locations are independently owned and operated. See club for details.
Another packed fall sports season means it's time to get to N Street Drive-In to fill up on all your beverage needs. November's beers of the month are from Nebraska Brewing Company, Oscar Blues Dale's Pale Ale, and Avery Brewing. Also, make sure to download the new N Street Drive-In app to order online and to set up delivery right to your front door. And don't forget their top-notch Crowler fill system. N Street Drive-In, your one-stop beverage stop at 1801 O Street.
The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef is Lincoln's newest full-service butcher shop, offering premium fresh-cut steaks and house-made sausages daily from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. They exclusively carry certified Piedmontese beef raised right here in Nebraska. When shopping at the Mercado, you're not only supporting local, but also enjoying the official beef of Nebraska athletics. With prime-grade tenderness and unparalleled nutritionals, your backyard barbecue is about to get a serious upgrade. Stop into the Mercado today, located off 84th and Havelock in Lincoln.
Have you been to Barn Wood and Leather, that new furniture store in Lincoln? It's a whole new look. If you like country, you'll love Barn Wood and Leather. It's country with a kick. Rustic, yet contemporary. Handcrafted in America from historic reclaimed barnwood and the finest leather. Create your own one-of-a-kind look for a room or your whole home. Come see for yourself at Barn Wood and Leather, South 14th and Dahlberg. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 5.
Are you sick of mindlessly running on a treadmill or the lack of motivation to consistently work out? Whatever your challenge, Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping can help. Whether you want to lose weight, boost energy, or simply improve your overall health, you'll fit right in at Farrell's regardless of age or abilities. Build endurance with their kickboxing and strength training group fitness classes while also getting nutrition coaching. Try Farrell's now for a free week. Visit fxblincoln.com or call Jeff at 402-310-4026. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street.
Back to the Ticket Weeknights.
Here are your hosts, Rocky Russo and Cristiano Simonetta.
on 93.7
We're
The
back
Ticket and the
with
ticketfm.com.
Outside the Box. Cristiano Simonetta with you. Rocky Russo doing alongside me. Second week we're doing this, Rocky, and the second time, let's shout out today's sponsor. Today's show is brought to you by Farm Bureau agent Rick Mitchener. When it comes to insurance, all you need to remember is Rick Mitchener. He's your local Farm Bureau financial services agent and can be your one agent for life, auto, home, farm and ranch, and business insurance. Rick Mitchener in Lincoln. It's your future. Let's protect it. Rocky, we're joined alongside Henry Nelson, stars defenseman number 12, and Lucas Wallen, stars forward number 3. Henry, Lucas, how you guys doing? Let's start with you, Henry.
Great. Thanks for having us on today.
Yeah, thank you very much.
These guys are a couple of heroes in the icebox, right?
So far, yeah, some early heroics from you guys. I guess that's a great segue to start with Lucas Wallen coming in. That game against Sioux City a couple of weeks ago, the fans remember it well. You score 2 goals in regulation. You get called on in the bottom of the second round. Take us through that forehand, backhand move and sending the icebox into a frenzy.
It was kind of a crazy one. I was grateful enough for Rocky to put me in the second round, and I was kind of buzzing that night and was able to get 2 earlier in the game, and I was able to feel myself and kind of fake out the goalie and put it 5-hole.
And then, Henry, you just scored the game-winning goal last Friday against Des Moines. You jump into the rush on a 2-on-1, getting a pass from, was it a good pass? I don't know, not the best pass from number 3 across from you. No, just kidding. What a great pass from Lucas. Then you finish it off, sending, again, the icebox home happy, and big 2 points for you guys.
Yeah, that was huge for our team. I got to give props to Wong for the pass for sure, and the fans for coming out. It was an amazing crowd, and it was a very fun game to be a part of.
And for you guys, the start of the season, 10-4-1. Henry, you were here for 6 games last year towards the end of the year. So let's start with your journey to get to Lincoln. Before the Lincoln Stars, where did you play your high school hockey?
I was playing at Maple Grove Senior High. We had a good few last 2 seasons of my high school career, making it to the semifinals. We lost to Eden Prairie last year, but it was a fun play there, and growing up in Maple Grove hockey was very fun. So I'm thankful for those years.
And you lost against your then teammate at the time in Lincoln, Luke Middlestead, and that incredible, 5-4 overtime thriller. What was that like going, right after you get done, you start your USHL career right next to a guy who you just shook hands with?
Yeah, it was crazy. I think a week after we lost that game, me and Luke had to drive down the 7-hour drive down in the same car. But I'm lucky to be friends with him, and that was a fun car ride for sure.
Did he rub it in a little bit or what?
He did a little bit, but we played on some teams before and have a good friendship, so not too much.
Tell us about, obviously, Minnesota high school hockey is like a cult, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Tanner Ludke just left us to go back and play his junior year at Lakeville South. He'll come back and be a full-time player for us next year, and he'll join us at the end of his high school season. But so many players pass up the opportunity to play junior hockey and stick around for that opportunity to play in that state tournament. Tell us what that experience is like.
Oh, it was unreal. My junior year, we had a packed crowd, probably 17,000 people towards the end of the game, and it was electric in that building. And I think a lot of players go back because the home games are electric, and playing for your community is something special and something I will cherish for the rest of my life. So, but going back to Middlesex, I know he beat us in the high school, but we had our fair share of good games growing up, and I think we got him a bunch in the Bantam and Pee Wee state championships growing up. So it was always fun playing them.
But he did win the race to scoring his first USHL goal. Oh, wait, no, he didn't.
No.
You had that incredible shot from the left circle, and then he comes right after you and says, anything you could do, I could do better, Henry. What was that like over on the bench in that game against Sioux Falls in April?
Yeah, that was awesome. I think I scored 5 minutes in or something, and then I think he scored the second goal. So I think just the competitiveness between me and him is huge, and I knew he was going to do it because it's just his game, and he's a great player. So, but it was a fun night for sure.
And then we got another Minnesota kid directly across from you from Woodbury, right, Lucas? And
Yes,
you
sir.
played your high school hockey at Hill Murray. What was that like?
It was an unbelievable experience. We had a great group of guys there. I was fortunate enough playing a state tournament as well my junior year. We couldn't end up pulling it out my senior year, but we had the 7:00 game my junior year. First game we played Minnetonka. They had an unbelievable team. They ended up going up to win the whole thing later in the
tournament, but it was crazy having all your friends and family there to just watch you and just cheer you on. It's awesome.
No, I mean, Lucas, you grew up a little bit different, right? Obviously, um, you played high school hockey, and a lot of these guys have the good fortune of having a Division I commitment out of high school, and have the opportunity to jump right in the USHL. We were just talking before we came back on the air that you had a fishing scholarship. Is that what it was? Where was that at? Bemidji State?
Yeah, if junior hockey didn't work out, I kind of looked into a couple different options, whether it was just going to college. I've always been a big fishing guy. I've always loved fishing, and I looked into maybe joining Bemidji State's fishing team because I know their team's unbelievable there. It's super competitive. It's right on the water. It's a beautiful campus.
So I got to get into this a little bit because I grew up throwing a line off the dock in the lake and catching some bluegill. And, as I got older, we probably had a couple adult beverages while we were doing that. But I don't even know where to begin when we talk about a competitive fishing team. Like what does this mean? What are you catching, and how is score kept? Like, I need to know these things. I'm incredibly interested.
Well, I mean, there's professional fishing you can watch on TV, stuff like that. There's a lot of different. I mean, there's even penalties in fishing if you want to get that into it. But I like to fish for largemouth bass, smallmouth bass, northern pike, stuff like that. All that stuff's in Minnesota near me. But
are you catching and then cooking, or are you releasing? What are you doing?
I'm a big release guy, catch and release. I'll catch the bluegills like you said earlier, and I'll cook those up. But I usually like to throw the bass back.
Now, tell us. Obviously, you didn't go the fishing route. You ended up playing in North Iowa for the North Iowa Bulls, who happen to be also owned by the ownership group here in Lincoln with the Stars. So tell us about your journey, your experience with the North Iowa Bulls, and ultimately where you went from there, and how you got to Lincoln.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to be pulled in under Todd Sandin's wing down at North Iowa, and he kind of brought me in kind of banged up, and I was able to heal up and have a good season there. And I was fortunate enough to tender with Kenai River Bound Bears in the North American Hockey League in about January, early beginning of the year. So I was fortunate enough to play a couple games with them, and I had a good 3-3 weekend with them in Janesville, and I ended up playing with them the next weekend. So it was good. And then the next season I was able to play with Kenai that next season. We were basically mainly based out of Minnesota because of COVID. We got up to Alaska the last about month and a half.
You're probably fortunate because I was up there a couple years ago, and it's not a place you really want to be.
Oh, I loved it there. The ice sheet that we had at our home rink it's bigger than Olympics. So for me and my speed, it was deadly.
Do you have a crazy story? Obviously, when you hear about the North American Hockey League, Rocky, we talked about, you jumping onto the bench, almost throwing.
You're gonna bring that up again?
Oh, we're gonna have a weekly segment called, Rocky's Tirade, and you're gonna go off on one topic. So that's segment 3. But for segment 2, Lucas, is there a crazy story from those Null days that you had up in Alaska?
I don't know if I have any crazy stories. There was always whoever scored the first goal at our ranked first game, they'd always throw a frozen salmon onto the ice, which was awesome.
Shreveport doing those.
We throw the Bulls
crabs
balls on the ice in Amarillo. It's a moneymaker, right?
Awesome.
So you throw the Bulls balls, and in Lone Star they throw the Brahmas, and obviously they got the salmon there in Kenai River. But I recall a story where Kenai River had to cancel practice because there was a moose in front of the door at the rink, and they couldn't get into the rink, and so. That's life in Alaska for sure. So
definitely not going to be seeing any moose anytime soon here in front of the ice box. But for you guys, before we end up going to break, your favorite part of being in Lincoln, Nebraska right now? Let's start with Henry.
I think it's just the guys. I think we got a great group of guys on our team right now, and that everyone likes to be around. I know the rink is a fun place to be with our group, and I think our coaching staff does a great job of making practices fun, and it's just a great atmosphere at the rink. So.
And Lucas, for you as a 20-year-old, 10 points in your first 15 games, you got to be loving life right now.
Yeah, no, it's great. Like Henry said, we have an unbelievable group of guys. I always want to be the first guy at the rink and the last guy to leave, just because I love being at the rink so much. We got everything we need at the rink. We got a weight room there. We got ice. I'm usually skating twice a day, so all the guys are joining with me, and we have a blast on the ice. It's great.
When we come back for Outside the Box, we'll talk thumbs up, thumbs down, Thanksgiving edition. We're going to roast and, to ask some questions for Henry and Lucas and Rocky, what their favorite Thanksgiving sides are, superlatives, all that type of stuff. You're not going to want to miss this. This is Outside the Box. We'll be back.
Serve Nebraska believes that volunteers are part of what makes Nebraska great. Each year, the Step Forward Awards honors volunteers from across the state who serve their communities in outstanding ways. In 2021, the Step Forward Awards has been postponed to December 9th and moved to a virtual space. Join us in thanking volunteers for all they do by tuning in to the virtual Step Forward Awards celebration. Visit serve.nebraska.gov to register. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Tom and Bach.
I think what made me sick was that game last night. I got up, Bach. I couldn't take it anymore. I didn't get angry at anyone. They're keeping an eye on, security apparently is keeping an eye on me. Like, you got to watch that Stevens. He's going to go crazy. He's going to get mad at the officials, and then all hell is going to break loose. Not
the world
so much.
just revolves around Tom Stevens.
That's right. It always revolves around me. Enough about me. What do you think of me?
Weekdays from 11 to 2 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Have you been to Barn Wood and Leather, that new furniture store in Lincoln? It's a whole new look. If you like country, you'll love Barn Wood and Leather. It's country with a kick. Rustic, yet contemporary, and crafted in America from historic reclaimed barnwood and the finest leather. Create your own one-of-a-kind look for a room or your whole home. Come see for yourself at Barn Wood and Leather, South 14th and Dahlberg. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 5.
This is Jay Foreman. I wore gear to protect my health on the football field, and now I'm protecting it with the COVID vaccine. Everyone, even kids 5 years and older, can get the vaccine too. If you've been vaccinated, now you can get your booster shot if you qualify. Stay strong, get vaccinated, and learn more at healthylincoln.org.
Lincoln's mega liquidation store is here. Wholesale Logistics is now open on West O Street as a bin store with tons of liquidation pallets, appliances, mattresses, furniture, and more. Brand new mattresses 30 to 60% off retail with well-known brands. New furniture also 30 to 60% off retail value. Brand new LG scratch and dent appliances 35 to 40% off retail. Wholesale Logistics purchases truckloads of smaller items from major retailers and throws them into bins, with everything starting at just $8. Get to Wholesale Logistics, open each Friday to Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at 2811 West O Street.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean. And there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
Welcome back, Husker fans. Eustace Body Shop is happy to welcome the best fans in college football back to Lincoln. With gold-class certified service, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop can call the right plays to keep you in the game. Whether it's in Lincoln at 88th and Highway 2 or at any of our other 5 locations across Nebraska, Eustace Body Shop can help get you back on the road. Go Big Red.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
I'm Dan Friedman. When you entrust the care of an aging or sick loved one to a nursing home, it can be a gut-wrenching decision. Unfortunately, sometimes these facilities are poorly managed or make bad decisions, and our vulnerable loved ones suffer the consequences. If you believe your loved one suffered at the hands of a poorly run nursing home, it doesn't cost you a thing to get the opinion of a skilled trial lawyer. At Friedman Law, we've been protecting the rights of injured Nebraskans for over half a century. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at friedmanlaw.com today.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels and Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels and Joe.
Hi, I'm Charlie Stone, and in just a few moments, Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln, will be joining us with the latest update. But before I bring Andy on, I'd like to tell our listeners about how proud I am to work with Honda of Lincoln. I like the way they provide listeners honest, up-to-date information that helps people make informed decisions about buying or leasing. Hey, Andy, are you with us?
Yes, I am, Charlie, and thank you for your comment.
Andy, what's happening at Honda of Lincoln?
We still have truckloads of new Hondas arriving daily, and there's still more than 500 new Hondas to choose from, either in stock or on the way. Plus, we have 0% APR financing available.
How about used, Andy?
One of our best selections of all makes and models, and we have a great selection of certified pre-owned Hondas that have special APR starting at 0.99%.
That's great, Andy. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Back to the Ticket Weeknights.
Here are your hosts, Rocky Russo and Cristiano Simonetta.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
And we're back with segment number 3 of this week's episode of Outside the Box. I'm Cristiano Simonetta, joined alongside by Stars head coach Rocky Russo, Stars defenseman Henry Nelson, and Stars forward Lucas Wallen. Thanksgiving week, guys. So let's rapid fire these. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Henry, turkey. Thumbs up or thumbs down. May sound very easy, but look, some people are weird out there and have a different opinion.
You got to go thumbs up with that.
Do you have like a certain dish at the table, or just, turkey, no ham? That's your go-to.
I think it's just turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, and some gravy. So, and then a piece of apple pie.
Lucas, what's your go-to Thanksgiving meal here?
I'm very similar with Nelly there. Turkey, you got to have a big plate of mashed potatoes, homemade stuffing from Mama, and then some apple pie as well.
Rocky, go ahead.
Turkey, big thumbs up. Green bean casserole, homemade cranberry sauce, mashed potatoes, corn, and as much gluttonous amount of gravy as you can possibly have, all over all of it. And then the next day you put it all in a big, nice, warm roll, and you have yourself a turkey sandwich, a Thanksgiving dinner sandwich after that. That's what I'm all about.
For the Minnesota kids, wild rice casserole, yay or nay? Do you guys do that stuff up in Minnesota?
I think my parents have tried to make it a few times, but I've never been a big fan. So,
I'll have some wild rice on the side, but I'm not a huge casserole guy.
Do you know what wild rice is?
I've had wild rice. I've never had it in a casserole. I would try that, but that makes me think back to last week's episode where we talked about red hot dogs. And my daughter was at the game on Friday, and we had to get her hot dog, and it was red. And my wife's like, what is going on here? Why is the hot dog red? Fortunately, she ate it. She liked it. So that's a thumbs up for the red hot dog.
Black Friday shopping. Henry, are you going to be in a line at getting the newest Xbox, or are you like, I'll wait a couple hours and do everything online?
No, I'll probably wait. We'll probably have practice next morning, so you don't want to be out all night shopping. So I don't think that would go over too well on the ice next morning.
Lucas, have you ever done that where you're kind of waiting for an item at 6 a.m. ready to storm through a Walmart?
No, never. I'm a big sleeper. I'm not going to wake up that early to go rush to get whatever I need. I don't need much. I'm not a big shopper, so I can wait.
Do people even have to go out to Black Friday shop anymore? Can't you just do it online? I mean, I need a TV, but I will not be getting up to go get that TV. I will find the Black Friday deal online and just order it there.
Yeah, I think everything you could just do online, but there's so many stories of those people just going through the front doors of a supermarket like it's a Dallas Cowboys game. But now let's move on to dessert, pumpkin pie on Thanksgiving. Thumbs up, thumbs down, Henry. Start us off.
No go. You got to go apple pie. No, I'm not a big pumpkin fan.
Lucas?
I'm actually just starting to get into pumpkin stuff. I tried a pumpkin spice latte from Scooters not too long ago. So I think I'm going to give pumpkin pie a go this year. So I'm going to try it, but apple pie is always the go-to.
I make an unbelievable pumpkin roll that's got cheese, cream cheese in it with a little powdered sugar on the top. Cut that up into slices. Like, that's the real deal. I love a traditional pumpkin pie, but give me that pumpkin roll any day of the week.
Thanksgiving or Christmas? Last question of the episode. Which one's better, Henry?
It's got to be Christmas. Christmas is always the best time of the year, and you get to see your family and hang out with them, so it's always good.
Christmas for me as well. I love the lights, love the Christmas trees. I like snow. Always getting out on the outdoor rinks as well with friends and family is great.
I put my Christmas lights up today. My wife won't let me put the tree up until Sunday, but I'm Christmas all day, every day, 365 days a year if I could.
Plenty to be grateful for around the Lincoln Stars family. We hope you listening have a great Thanksgiving with you and yours. We'll be back next Tuesday, 7 to 8 o'clock. This was Outside the Box.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals.